Do it for the A grade.
I ain't gonna do it.
Do it for the A grade.
I ain't gonna do it.
Do it for the A grade.
I ain't gonna do it.
You will do it because you got our podcast hosted by Luke, Catherine and Tatum.
Fresh.
So, I still don't really understand discourse.
It's complicated because it means so many different things, even in the field of language study. It's spoken language, sometimes, but also the structure of text, spoken or written, beyond the word, phrase and clause level. So, the way in which texts are put together as units, with beginnings, middles and ends, /problems, and solutions /orientations, complications, resolutions and coders. But also it can be taken to mean threads, arguments, themes and discussions about ideas associated with language.
To my mind, similarly, discourse is the way in which we explicit or implicit social ideas, values and beliefs, and are encoded in the language used by specific groups, political and institutional units, and many more social units. Power structures and the way power structures are encoded in the language used. Churches, for example, have a particular discourse, which means that often the language they use is powerfully significant because it relates to tangible social organisation and the mapping of social relations. You have a discourse of salvation, Christian living, church membership, infallibility of the Bible, etc.
Frankly, I can't blame anyone who gets confused by this.
Definitely. Thanks for your help, guys. So, shall we practice some discourse examples? Let's start with fillers, shall we, Luke?
Fillers are
Small utterances.
small utterances of speech that fill silence, like,
That's such a good example, thank you.
Hedging makes what you say less direct. For example, you're a bit mean about that, weren't you?
sort of.
Oh, that was great. Discourse markers are used to signpost discourse. For example, taking in turns and joining ideas together.
Backchanneling is where the listener makes a noise, gesture, or says a word that indicates they are listening.
Oh, see, that was a great example.
Repairs are where someone says something, then they stop and say it in a different way. E.g., I went to watch that show at the theatre yesterday.
Fake language makes something less blunt. For example, oh, I'm not sure about that dress you're wearing.
Initiation response feedback is the pattern of discussion. For example, hi, how are you? I'm great, thanks. You? Yeah, I'm great.
Adjacency pairs are the rules of conversation, e.g., taking in turns.
Deixis is a context-based language. For example, this, that, there. I might say to Luke, oh, look over there.
Cool.
But you wouldn't know what's going on.
Prosodics are non-verbal aspects of speech, like volume, like hi.
Tag questions are short questions on the end of a sentence. For example, it's hot outside, isn't it?
Well, that was fun, wasn't it? What was that an example of, Luke?
A tag question.
Let's talk about critical discourse.
What is critical discourse, Catherine?
It is the idea of analysing texts in order to reveal and question the powerful interests behind them. There are lots of theories behind this.
Oh yes, there's power asymmetry, which is marked difference in power status.
And unequal encounters, which is another term for asymmetry power.
Oh, I remember the power participant is where someone has higher status due to context and the less powerful participant than the less powerful participant.
we can bring in the face theory that Goffman, Brown, and Levinson developed.
Positive face is where an individual feels the need to feel valued, liked, and appreciated.
Negative face is the individual's need to not feel imposed on or have their freedom threatened.
And if your face is threatened, then it may make you feel very uncomfortable.
Oh, my face.
And there is Howard Giles' theory.
Oh, yeah, the emphasis or minimising social difference depending on who they're with.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was great fun.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what do you say? Should we fill them on the assessment objectives?
Yeah, totally, yeah,
Should we start with AO1? What do you think about AO1, Luke?
Well, AO1 is when you apply appropriate methods of language analysis using associated terminology and coherent written expression. This assessment objective rewards you for 3 things: being able to apply the approaches that are part of the subject area, being able to use the key terms that are relevant for the subject area, being able to write coherently. This means that your writing makes sense and the points you make link together in a logical way. To get to Band 5, you must apply linguistic methods and terminology, identifying patterns and complexities. Apply different levels of language analysis in an integrated way, recognizing how they are connected. Apply levels of language analysis with rare errors, and guide the reader.
For assessment objective 3, you should analyse and evaluate how contextual factors and language features are associated with the construction of meaning. This means that meanings aren't fixed, so this assessment objective rewards you for understanding that and show how meanings are made. Meanings are negotiated, people make language choices and others interpret them. But many different aspects of context help to shape what something means. It's important to be able to identify language features, even if you can't label them to get AO1 credit. But you also need to say how context, for example, the historical period, the setting, the topic, the participants, the mode, and so on, affects the meaning of the word, expression, or utterance. Think of a swear word. Does it always have the same effect, regardless of where and when someone says it, who the speaker is, and who is within earshot? To get top band for this, you must explore the use of language and representations according to context.
Let's go on to AO4. This is explore connections across texts, informed by linguistic concepts and methods. No text exists in isolation. Sometimes texts make explicit reference to other texts, and this relationship is termed intertextuality. This language strategy is often employed by writers or speakers who want to draw attention to their message by harnessing the meaning and power of a previous text. Intertextuality can also form the basis of humour and language play, which in themselves create memorability. For example, the cafe near us, called Bill's, in Lewis, sells its own leaf tea called Brouhaha, playing on the word brohaha, which in its is a startling word, French for hubbub. Starbucks sells salad boxes called Thai and Mighty, Hail Caesar and Better Comply. If you get the reference, then the strategy has done its work. If you don't, then it may still be successful if it puzzles you and therefore stays in your mind. You may even ask someone else what it means, so it becomes a topic of conversation. Connections between texts are not just about words and expressions. As a student of English language, you're expected to explore the idea of genres or types of text that exist in a society for particular functions. You're also expected to think about the way texts group together forms of discourse, repeated ways of talking and writing about a topic or idea, influencing our thinking and behaviour. For example, texts that are food recipes exist in a genre relationship with each other and contribute to our social discourses about food. In order to get Band 5 in this AO, you need to explore the significance of connections found across texts.
Wow, that was great.
I'm so glad I learned that for the exam.
Me too. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Goodbye from Catherine.
Luke.
And Tatum.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.